Hey friends, I'm at a place called Assington Hall, or Assington. I'm fascinated by this Assington Hall, but more on that later. I'm thinking a lot about this 8 inches mile squared and this possibility that it's actually 6 down for every 1 across. Pardon me, 6 down for every 10 across. Or expressed a different way, for every mile walked, you lose a kilometer of height. I know this is hard for us to conceptualize, and I'm not absolutely certain that I've got it all right in my head, but I'll tell you where I think I tell you where I think I am at the moment, which is that they've used spherical and planar geometry side by side to create a little bit of disinfo. And that is that when the observer looks out from their point of view, you're creating a planar line of sight, and you're also creating like a planar a starting point for the ship, the plane, the viewer, the mountain in the distance, etc. These things are all then described through the planar geometrical model, when I think that actually you've got to say spherical geometry the whole way through. And the ship that is on the 12 o'clock position is actually still on a trajectory. It's at the top of my knuckle, but it's actually not on a plane to start with. It's already inscribing a spherical travel journey. So when we planar that, we lose the natural circumferential aspect of the whole journey. We basically start, oh well, where I stand is the 0 point and everything starts to bend away from me. Well, actually there is no 0 point on a ball, on a sphere. Everything is always inside of the spherical coating, and the amount that it's going to drop will just simply depend on the size of the sphere being circumnavigated. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to keep it short because the download time is horrendous. I'm just trying to make this point, get you to think that actually it's possible that there is something. And why does it matter? Some people, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, that sounds to me like ballers saying, what does it matter? Well, it matters because if in a 100-meter span there's a 60-meter visible curve, and one could say that that's 30 meters either side of me, because it's it's part of a circle. Throw a stone. It does mean I'm going to throw some stones. Get out of the way of this car, okay? And then you can throw. There's a car coming. Stand here a moment. Wait for this car to go. See that car there? And this truck over here on the left-hand side. This one here. This white truck is going to move. I can hear it, engine running. Anyway, so it's the inscription of the inside of an arc that your ship is effectively traveling on. My boy right now, he's throwing stones on level water. Daddy, get you a nice stone to throw. Hey. Splash! Oh, nice throw. Should we find a decent pond? So you have to throw stones. You've been watching my channel for a while. You would have seen this a long time ago. Anyway, I didn't see this other thing coming. Really, it's only been a week or 10 days that I've been thinking, no, this is not right. And now I'm starting to unpick the why. People that are really good at maths will be able to kind of help me along with this, but I think that's the trick. The combination of planar with geometric, and the sort of, right, let's take the planar, woof, I'm seeing out for this, and then from there it drops X amount. Well, take this in your mind, that if I see a ship traveling from here to 1,000 miles away, and I can see all of that, I claim that I could be able to see all of that, but that in the last mile, the last mile of that 1,000 mile journey, the ship is going to descend by, I forget now the amount, but it's hundreds of feet in that last mile. But if I ask that person who was standing at the harbour, how much is the ship rising as it approaches you, they'd say 8 inches. You can't have it both ways, and that's what's wrong with the mile squared model, because it's using a form of relativity to say, well, where I start from is a 0 point, and it's not. There's no 0 point. There's no start point on a ball. It's always bending. You can't start at a perpendicular because you're forgetting the bit behind you. And yes, it allows for this formula that works to a point, but actually at 1,000 miles, according to my rough maths, I think you've dropped down only 130 miles of the 4,000 miles that you should drop down. And again, that's impossible. If it's a 6,000 mile journey, you've done 1/6 of that journey, but you've only dropped down a few percentage points of the total. That means that in the final bit, you're actually falling, you know, just falling off a hill, as it were, or falling off a cliff. In reality, that would mean that the people who were at the cliff's edge at your end destination, they would experience a cliff. No, they don't. They experience, well, what we say to them, 8 inches and 32 inches per second mile. Well, that no longer holds water, my friends. Let's be brave enough to go and look at this again. If I'm wrong, put my hands up, I'm wrong. But as far as I can tell, pole to pole, 8,000 miles. Across the skin of that, 12,000 miles. Travel 12, drop down 8. Whether that's inches, miles, or thousands of miles. Let's keep it simple, friends. Earth is still flat, that's for sure.